One, two, three. Good morning, y'all. This is Ned over at My Philippine Dreams, N to the E to the D over at MPD, coming at you from Dumaguete City, the city of gentle people, Negros Oriental. Welcome to our weekly livecast. This is where I make an attempt to live and interact with subscribers and talk about some of the things that are going on here in the Philippines that can affect foreigners living, working, retiring, doing anything in the Philippines. We're going to be talking about a couple things today. I actually only pulled one article from the headlines. It has to do with President Duterte and same-sex law marriage. But we're going to be mostly talking about, or I'm going to be mostly talking about, our Bohol misadventure. Because if you saw the video, and the video came out pretty good, it was just a compilation of some of the best scenes from our trip. I'm going to try to put the rest of the video up as time permits. But it looked good, but there were some things that went on that kind of made the trip less than spectacular, less than the best that it could have been. So we're going to be talking about that. Let's see if we are actually live streaming. This is coming at you in glorious 360p. PLDT only allows 0.5 megabit upload. So if you're getting buffering, just blame Philippines latency. Alright, first up. Today's livecast is brought to you by Simply Cereal. Yes, Simply Cereal Apple and Cranberry Munch More Muesli. As we're getting older, as the years are progressing, and things aren't moving like they used to, having some muesli every morning could be a great solution to that problem. It's only 313 pesos, which is kind of expensive because it looks like a small bag, but this easily lasts over a week, and this stuff's really good. It's the best cereal I've had, and I try to have it every day. It's imported by Fly Ace Corporation, but one thing that I noticed today, because we just picked this up at Hypermart, the expiration date, best before January 11th, 2017. But hey, it's more fun in the Philippines. Thank you, Simply Cereal, Apple and Cranberry Muesli, for today's sponsorship of our livecast. Into the trivia questions. Okay, last week's trivia question was, this sultry actress was born in Las Vegas on July 23rd, 1970. She is best known for her time on Buffy the Vampire Slayer and its spin-off Angel, which is the name of our dog. Both of which were great shows, by the way. One of my only TV crushes, name this actress. The correct answer was Charisma Carpenter. And Ramon Rodriguez, Butterflying 85, and Michael Peck all received a free copy of my ebook, Chasing Your Philippine Dream, an Expat's Guide to the Philippines. As usual, I sent it out late. The last live cast, I believe, was March 22nd. So, yeah, it's a couple weeks late. I sent them off this morning. But congratulations again. This week's trivia question, if you know the answer to this trivia question, bring up your email. Send in the answer, and if you're one of the first 3 people to get it right, I'll send you a free copy of our ebook. This week's trivia question. This Japanese anime was ported over to the United States in 1979. Japanese anime. I'm actually a big anime geek. I love that stuff. 2 of the protagonists in the show were the feisty Derek Wildstar and the sexy, for a cartoon that is, Nova, who played the communications officer. Name that show. The first 3 correct answers get a free copy of our ebook, Chasing Your Philippine Dream. Send them in. Also, this week's featured Philippines expat vlogger is another American who's living here. He lives up in Talisay City, which is, I believe, just outside of Bacolod. Negros Occidental. He's actually on the same island I am. His name is Lanhawk59, and he's got an interesting perspective because he's actually living here and he's running a business with his wife. I believe they have a restaurant, maybe some other stuff going on, internet cafe, I'm not sure. But you can go check out his channel. From his channel, from his About section, this is what it says. Move to the Philippines, run a small restaurant, and live with a family. Can all this be done and still be happy? Check out my channel, this is Lanhawk, and find out. I am an American expat who moved to the Philippines for love, and together with Remy, we make a go of trying to survive by running a small food business. Follow my adventure as we try to combine love, family, and business together to form a life in the Philippines. Our location is in Talisay City, just outside Bacolod, in the Negros Occidental province. Links to his channel can be found down in the video description box, and I'll probably have one in the annotations at the very end of the video. You'll be able to click there and go to his channel. All right, let's go to the comments real quick before we get into the Bohol Misadventure. We got 67 watching. Welcome one, welcome all. And welcome Jerry Gamboni, all that stuff. Somebody's asking, hey Ned, what have you heard about YouTube losing advertisers for AdSense? I'm going to actually address that in a little bit. KI4GLX, you still haven't received your ebook. I sent it to you twice, I believe. Dude, just send another message, myphilippinedreams@gmail.com, and I'll definitely get that to you. Jerry Gamboni says, just an update, as you were considering Sky, on my Sky broadband, it works well over 90% of the time. Yeah, well, I mean, we'll be addressing that when we get back, but we got to do something different. I mean, PLDT at first, like Sky Cable, when we first got Sky Cable, it was pretty solid, and over time, it's just gotten worse. I don't know if it's because they're splitting the signal more and more as more people are subscribing, or what's going on. So that's that. All right, let's get into our Bohol Misadventure. First off, the weather didn't exactly cooperate. We had put off going to Bohol for about 3 weekends. This was our 4th attempt. We went on the final attempt because the forecast was always it's going to be raining, it's going to be showering, it's going to be miserable. But every one of those weekends was actually pretty nice. So when we finally did go, even though it was predicting rain, we got a lot of rain. It was drizzling or raining, overcast. The good thing was it wasn't that hot. And we got to see a bunch of sites. We went on a tour. And that was nice. We actually, I mean, if you're going to do it, I recommend, if you're older like me and somewhat decapitated and you're not a youngster who can cruise around on, motors for extended periods of time, scooters through the mountains and all that, because Bohol, it's actually pretty big once you get up to the Chocolate Hills and stuff. We rented a car for the day. It was only 2,000 pesos. It came with a tour guide. He brought us all around. It was great. And there was air conditioning, because even though it was raining, when the sun did come out, you had the combination of the heat from the sun and the humidity because it was raining. So it was pretty nasty. First off, before I get into the Misadventure, I don't really like to travel. I'm kind of a homebody. I like what I'm familiar with. I don't like to go outside my comfort zone. I like my area of operations. I like keeping everything squared away, everything strack, everything in its proper place. So traveling for me is kind of stressful. This might qualify for too much information, but I found out that it happens to a lot of people. I also have something, a psychological condition, that is known as safe toilet syndrome, which means as soon as I start traveling and get out of my comfort zone, out of my area of operations, which is all squared away, I get constipated. And with the constipation comes bloating and just a general feeling of unease. I've had it ever since I was a baby, so my family tells me. And then when I did Google research on it when we came back from Bohol, I found out that it actually happens to a lot of people. Actually, it happens to a majority of people. Because, you're outside your comfort zone, you get that uncertainty. Maybe it's the body's biological way of preparing for something or expressing its displeasure. So there's that. Also, Alona Beach, where we stayed, and the combinations we stayed at were actually very nice. I forgot the name of it, but it's going to be up in the video. Alona Beach is pretty much a straight-up tourist trap. It's just resort after resort after resort. There's thousands of people there. Everybody's bumping into each other. The selfie sticks are all going out, and everyone's knocking each other in the head with the selfie sticks. You got the beach hawkers coming up, with a sign saying, hey, you want to go on an island tour? You say no, then 2 feet away from him's another guy with the same sign. Hey, you want to go on an island tour? No. So that gets a little annoying. The food was good. That's one good thing about the resorts there. The food was pretty good. And also the Wi-Fi was excellent. We were getting 40 megabit download, 20 megabit upload on PLDT fiber, because that area in Alona has fiber. So that was pretty good. So we had the weather. The weather stuff was going on. We went up to the Chocolate Hills. We saw the churches where the earthquake had devastated Bohol and had taken down a lot of the churches. One thing I didn't know was that the churches were constructed, I believe, of like coral limestone or something, and as a binding, as mortar, they used egg white, and as rebar, they used bamboo poles. So even though the walls were really thick, being made of coral limestone or whatever it was made of, and egg white, I can only imagine the number of chickens that got their eggs stolen to make all these churches. Poor chickens. But they're rebuilding a lot of the churches. That was cool to see. We got up to the Chocolate Hills. It's a bunch of round hills. It was okay. Again, a lot of tourists from all over the world there checking it out. And we checked out the butterfly garden. That was cool. I like butterflies. And the guide we had for the butterfly tour was really cool. He was really funny. We had a good time with that. And then we went to go feed some monkeys. I love monkeys. Ever since I've been a little kid, I love monkeys, chimpanzees, that whole thing. So we saw the sign, we pulled over, and we got onto basically what is Bud Brown's Mollymobile. I believe it's made by Recall. It's an electric trike. And even though it's not as big and heavy as a Russi tricycle, it's still pretty heavy. So instead of using a hobble, a motorcycle, they were using this to convey people down this bumpy road to where the monkey feeding place was. And they had some flying lemurs or something, I don't know. So we go down the road, and the road was very bumpy. And our driver actually joked and said, "Oh, don't worry, it's got a great suspension." So my back is just, every bump is just killing my back. And we're going along. We're almost at the gate to where this monkey feeding place is, when there's these 4 dogs on the road. And the guy's actually going uphill a little bit at this time. The driver, not our tour guide, but this other tour guide that's bringing us to this monkey feeding place, he beeps his horn. He lays into his horn to try to get the dogs off the road. The dogs don't get off the road in time. And he actually, at the very last minute, he sped up. He's still on the horn. And he ran over 2 of the dogs. You felt the dogs go under the front of the trike, and then you felt them go under the axle. And we kind of bumped up a little bit. The dogs are screaming and howling. So I pretty much immediately lose my mind. Instantly seeing red, I jump off the trike. The trike is still moving. The driver is kind of like looking confused, and he's not understanding what's going on. I start swearing at him. Basically all the things you're not supposed to do as a foreigner in the Philippines. All that, patience and understanding and all that went right out the window. I lost my mind. I'm screaming at this guy. Michelle's all upset. Blood streaming out of the dog's mouth, probably internal injuries. So I tell, bring us back. He's like, he can't understand why I'm so upset. Maybe he just thought they were Oscars, and they're basically disposable because they're new litters being born all the time. So I had a big adrenaline dump off that. The fight or flight, you get the adrenaline going. I didn't punch him, I didn't fight him, and I didn't run away. So all that adrenaline just fired me up and then just dumped out. We get back to our driver and the car, and we go to the zip line. And the zip line, if you saw the video, that was fantastic. That's the best zip line I've been on. Granted, I haven't been on too many zip lines. It was so beautiful. I got another adrenaline dump off that. And when you're getting adrenaline dumps like that, it really kind of like affects you psychologically. And then we went on the Lobok River Tour, which is basically rafts, and they have musicians on there, and they feed you. There's a big buffet. I heard good things about it. But I had problems with it because I'd gone through 2, I was still pissed off at this guy who purposely ran over these dogs. And I was still dealing with the adrenaline dumps from the zip line. And also, I'm not comfortable around groups of strangers in a confined space. And when you're on a boat, when you're on a raft going down a river, it's kind of a confined space. I also don't like people being behind me. And unfortunately, the seats we had, because we were the last on the boat, we had the worst seats. So we had the band behind us, the buffet right in front of us. There was some dude that was actually working on the boat, sitting in my seat, finishing up his meal. So I had to stand there for a while. I didn't enjoy the river raft at all because the music, I don't like loud noises. The musicians were right behind me blasting the music. Also, just seeing people in buffets and everybody's trying to get all the food before it's gone, and it was just, I didn't like that. So those were the 2 things. It was the Lobok River cruise that I didn't enjoy that much, and it was also the monkey feeding with a freaking jackass running over the dogs. That really pissed me off. Again, though, life is cheap in the Philippines. We talk about budgets, how much it costs to live here. It doesn't cost much to live here. But there's not much value placed on life, especially when it comes to animals. Pigs. Petunia, remember the video we did on Petunia, sweet little Petunia? Yeah, they killed her. It took her about a half an hour to die. She was screaming the whole time. It was horrible. And if you've ever heard a pig being, killed. And they don't do it quick. They don't do it. I think they poke a hole in the neck or something and just let them bleed out. But poor Petunia. So the value on life here. So although the video that we did in Bohol looked great and everything, there were some downsides, like with everything. But we got back safely. Bud Brown went with us on the same boat there and on the same boat back. They were working on some paperwork they were trying to get squared away. So that's that. So that's and I'm never going to Boracay. If Boracay is anything like Alona, I have no interest in going to Boracay. I actually we know there's a couple locations with these really isolated, rugged white sand beaches that don't have that many resorts on them, aren't that crowded, and that's what we like to do. There's one up in Sipalay. That's probably my favorite. All right, back to the comments real quick, and then we'll get into President Duterte's latest rant. Greetings from Terry in Houston, Texas. Hello, Terry. Also, yeah, the expat, the foreigner expat softball team here in Dumaguete, they're having a big tournament, and I think they got 18 teams signed up already. They actually have a Facebook page. I'll try to put the link there. But one of the guys, his name is Joe. He's from Houston. And the weather here doesn't bother him at all. Matter of fact, the first time I saw him, I think it was the middle of June, so it was basically still summer, and he was walking around in a long-sleeve shirt. But come to find out, he's from Houston. How do you deal with crowded airplanes? I put on headphones and I take lots of drugs. Norwegian Polar Bear, what's your thoughts about the AdSense drama on YouTube? All right, so I'll address that right now. This is just my opinion. And strangely enough, ironically enough, I had 2 of my videos pulled down by YouTube for not meeting the community guidelines. The first one that got taken down, that I lost AdSense on rather, was my 1998 Mitsubishi Pajero video, and you can see that in our video archive. And they demonetized that. And for the honestly, I couldn't figure out why they had demonetized that. It's a 1998 Mitsubishi Pajero, blah, blah, blah. And then I realized that in some countries, because, I speak some other languages, Pajero actually means something that could be taken as inappropriate. I believe it refers to masturbation, self-pleasuring in some countries. So I appealed that, and they remonetized it because, and I understand that it's YouTube has so many videos that they have to go through this stuff, and they use bots to do it all and try to track them down. And the other video that got demonetized was the video I did, that gosh dang N-bomb in the White House, where a guy, when I was at the dentist, had started dropping the N-bomb about the then President of the United States. I got a little upset at that, verbally expressed my displeasure at it. And that got demonetized, probably because of the title, maybe because of the content. I appealed that, and they still won't remonetize it, so that's cool. A lot of advertisers are pulling out of YouTube because they're finding out that their advertising is being placed alongside or within what they call repugnant videos or repugnant content. A lot of extremist stuff, stuff that they don't want to be associated with. So yeah, I think Verizon, Walmart, some of them have pulled advertising, and YouTube's responding by demonetizing all these videos, and you're seeing it, and we're seeing it. But as for AdSense, I just consider AdSense found money. I'm not too concerned about how much I'm making on AdSense. If I was very concerned about my AdSense, I'd be putting out videos every day, but I just don't do that because it's not really worth the money that you make on AdSense to spend a lot of time doing videos. So I'm not really worried about it. I mean, if we completely lose AdSense, it's just that was found money anyways. I wasn't banking on that. I wasn't planning on making money with AdSense with YouTube. It just happened. So we'll see what happens. And I can't blame the advertisers, because I saw some of the content that some of these advertisers were being associated with. It was like, yeah, oof, that's a little rough. All right, so we went to our Bohol Misadventure. President Duterte spews anti-U.S. rants anew. This was actually in the Manila Times. I saw this in a physical newspaper. I was at McDonald's. The old McDonald's has been renovated here in Dumaguete, and it's open and it's beautiful. So I read about this in the newspaper there. And I was expecting something good, but this is rather tame compared to some of his earlier things. President Duterte assailed the U.S. State Department for making gay rights, particularly same-sex marriage, a criteria for its foreign aid allocations. The president criticized that the U.S. imposition of gay rights agenda on foreign nations was convoluted. I don't know why he picked convoluted. He could have said nonsensical or something. President Duterte goes on to say, they went around the world, State Department offering assistance to countries which would allow same-sex marriage, Duterte told a gathering of newly sworn-in government officials. They went to Liberia, offered assistance if you want it. We'll give you the aid, but you have to allow same-sex marriage. Because in that State Department it is convoluted. Why? Because it is multiracial, and that will destroy the country one day, he added. I don't know what he meant by that. I mean, if you look at that literally, that's kind of fucked up, but, you know, it's whatever. And again, you got to realize sometimes things get lost in translation, or, you know, reporters mishear stuff. President Duterte argued that the Philippines and other foreign nations have different views and policies that must be respected. Citing an example, President Duterte said he could not allow same-sex marriage in the country because it is against the law. When I first read this, I thought it was fake news. I'll be honest with you. I'm like, I can't see the State Department forcing countries to, you know, have same-sex marriage in order to get foreign aid from the United States. And then I looked it up, and sure enough, it's true. It was part of the LGBT gay rights agenda, trying to force or influence or encourage other nations to be more accepting of, you know, gays, lesbians, transgenders, all that stuff. I can, in order to get foreign aid, I mean, the United States is like, all right, listen, if you want our money, this is what you're going to have to do. And money has long been a, you know, part of international relations, part of diplomacy. I can understand it in the case of, hey, you know, we're not going to give you foreign aid if you gas your own people like they're doing in Syria, if you encourage, you know, killings of your own people, suspending habeas corpus, locking people up, having labor camps, that type of thing. But to force countries to have same-sex marriage when every state in the United States doesn't have same-sex marriage, I don't think, it's kind of strange. It's kind of odd, but it is what it is. All right, go on one last time. Back to the comments. We got 124 watching. Greetings to everybody. Hope you are well. Also, I mean, I get a lot of messages. I've been busy. Michelle has been even busier. Michelle's doing like 10-hour days, easy, 10, 12-hour days, 6 days a week. So I haven't been able to get back to a lot of emails, a lot of messages, a lot of comments that are being left. Terry Height says, yeah, we live 100 degrees here in the Texas year after year, so Philippines will be nice for us Texans. Yeah, if you are from the Gulf area in Texas, I think it's actually worse. The heat is worse here. Yeah, Corey in America. Hey, Corey, what's going on? Give my best to Dina. Seems like Trump won't promote that. Yeah, I think he's pulling actually a lot of the money from the State Department. He's like, why are we giving all this money to other countries? And the generals aren't too crazy about that because now they're like, well, we're going to have to build more tanks if we can't use money for diplomacy. That shit's really complicated, and I don't understand how it works. But, yeah, I can't see President Trump enforcing it. I'm sure that's going to be changed. DRB 166 says Britannia, a group of islands off the coast of northeast Mindanao, is a very peaceful place for us. You can choose which island you want to relax on. Some have services while you may be there, maybe the only people on others. Yeah, there's Cloud9's out there, and I've seen videos of that, and that looks actually pretty nice. It's not super built up Resortville. Yes, Corey, I'm so conservative. I'm proud of you, buddy. Michelle's working right now. David Purcell says, it's not odd. We're trying to cut off all the funding of countries that get the most aid. We give too much away. Yeah, like I said, I don't understand a lot of how that stuff works. I don't understand enough about governments and state departments and everything. But hey, that's that. Expat in Training says, what is this show rated, GPGR or XXX? This is pretty much PG. I think I dropped one F-bomb. I try not to. I try not to. KI4GLX says, I don't think our emails like each other. Yeah, just try it one more time. My Philippine Dreams, no S on Philippine, at gmail.com. So that's basically life here. Again, I got my ticket back to the United States. Let me tell you about another psychological failing that I have. And I was talking to people last night about this, and nobody else has experienced this. Now that I know that I'm going back to the U.S., and this happens every time I travel, every time I'm scheduled to go somewhere, I get these stress dreams where I'm like leaving the next day and I haven't packed anything. I haven't made the arrangements for the hotel. I'm still in Dumaguete. So I'm running around in my dream, frantically packing stuff, trying to get lists. You know, I don't have my exit clearance. I'm freaking out. So yeah, I think it's like it's something akin to performance anxiety dreams or something. But yeah, I have these stress dreams about travel because I really am a homebody. I like my routine. I like my discipline. I like my area of operations and everything being dressed right, and right where it's supposed to be. So that's about it. I hope everybody is well. James Travel says, good man, Ned. I pulled a rock from a young man's hand in the Philippines when he tried to throw rocks at the neighborhood dog. Yeah, I mean, if there's a dog and if there's a wild dog in Ascal and a Song Collier, what people do is they'll just pretend that they're reaching down to pick up a stick or a rock, and the dogs will automatically run away. And I love dogs. I really do. I've been volunteering in dog shelters since I believe I was 13. I think that was the first time. And I've regularly done it, walking the dogs for free, feeding the dogs, doing all that stuff. So it's tough. I mean, and if you've been here, you know what I'm talking about. And if you haven't been here, it's kind of a rude awakening, especially seeing these little these dogs kept in these little tiny cages, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. They're born in the cages and they die in the cages, and their only job is to be a furry burglar alarm. Edward Annabelle, what happened to the live feed? I got the red bar up, so it looks like it's dying. So I'm going to sign off. I hope everybody is well. Hope you get the trivia question so you can get a free copy of our book, which is actually a pretty good book. Until next time, this is Ned over on My Philippine Dreams. Try to stay out of trouble and balik balik, y'all.